So I thought I'd offer you 3 tips to help you to develop your intuition. The first one is really simple, but it does take practice, and it's almost like this is the first step and the last step, and every step in between. If you don't do this one thing, you might struggle to develop your intuition and to keep using it in a discerning and natural and beautiful way. So it's quite simply this. You need to start learning to take your attention, your awareness below your shoulders, especially the heart area and the stomach area. Because your intuition is literally inside. I mean, it's intuition, inspiration, insight. If you look at those words, they're all clues. So the mind is not where it's happening. The mind, in fact, often interferes with our intuition. And although the mind has to translate intuition and put our feelings and our gut instincts into words, the bulk of your intuitive instincts, your natural intuition, is going to happen in the body. So the first tip is to develop your body awareness, what I call body awareness. And it's as simple as learning to take your attention, to stop and take your attention into the body, to start paying attention to your feelings, to the thoughts and feelings as they arise when you are focused on different things. So body awareness is really a critical first tip. The second tip is to understand that fear interferes with your intuition. If you imagine that your body is like the antennae of a radio. Remember those old-fashioned radios? My teenage children always struggle to understand some of the technologies that we knew when we were younger. Am I revealing my age? But an antennae. Your body is like that antennae, and it is tuning in and picking up information all the time from all around you. It's hearing the music, it's tuning into the music of life, to the music of other people, to the way, to the wisdom really that is inherent in all things. Now fear is like the static interference that interferes with your ability to get a good signal and to pick up clearly and to interpret and translate clearly. So it's always important to use intuition with wisdom and discernment to keep your feet on the ground, because one of the voices that is loud in our heads is the voice of fear, and the voice of fear is very strongly linked to the voice of the ego. And the ego wants to be right, it wants to be superior, or it wants to be in control. So almost imagine like we have an inner committee. We have parts of ourselves that are debating or having conversations. And if you don't believe me, think about this. Have you ever had an argument with yourself? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've at least once been debating whether to do something this way or that way, whether to go with this or not. Well, if there is only one of you, who are you arguing with? Now, this isn't schizophrenia 101, but we do have different perspectives. We have different aspects of ourselves, always in conversation, or different thought streams, if you put it that way. Now, intuition is like part of that inner committee, but it's not going to grab the microphone. It's not going to be the one that forces its opinion on you. The loudest voices inside of us, the most dominant aspects of ourselves, tend to be ego and fear. So bear that in mind, so that when you learn to go inside and you learn to develop your intuition, that you can spot ego and fear and learn to separate them from real intuition. And learning to relax and to calm calm your body down is really important, because that's how you take the microphone away from the voice of fear and ego and start handing it over to your deeper wisdom, to your inner guidance system, which is your intuition. So the second is to know that fear interferes. The third tip is what I call feeling literacy. So just like when you were a little person, a young person in this world, how you weren't taught to see. Nobody had to teach you to use your senses, because your senses were already there. You could hear or you could see. And sight, which is a great gift, is not something, if you have sight, if you have the ability to see, it's not something that you get taught. You don't get taught, now make this lens and the pupils dilate and change the lens shape now because you're focusing over there. You never get taught to use these eyes. What you do get taught is to become literate with what you can see, to become visually literate. So you get taught to label things. You get taught to label, that's red, that's blue. You get taught to label, that's an A, that's a B shape. Your language, your visual literacy, excuse me. Now, intuition is exactly the same. You already have intuition. Let no one tell you that intuition is something special or less special, but it's not for the gifted few. Intuition is natural. It is a part of all of us. It is as natural as seeing and hearing. It is a part of what it means to be human. You have a body, you have intuition. And I presume you have a body. Okay, jokes. So we don't have to teach you so much to be able to see intuitively, to be able to pick up things intuitively. All that's necessary is training the literacy. So when you're tuning in, using your intuition for inspiration, as a business tool, as a personal growth tool, that you're able to discern, just like we did with our sight, just like we did when we learned that's blue, that's red. Now it's about learning to use your intuition, and in the beginning it's going to be, okay, that feels like this feels like that. It's a literacy tool, increasing your intuitive vocabulary. So the third tool is to start, or the tip is to realize that you need to not make yourself intuitive, because you are already, but to develop your intuition, deepen it, and all that really is feeling literacy, intuitive literacy, increasing the vocabulary, so that in the beginning you'll know the difference between red and blue, symbolically or metaphorically. In the beginning you will know the broad strokes of intuitive sense, and later, as your skill develops and as your feeling literacy or your vocabulary increases, you'll be able to go, that's turquoise, that's cyan, and your intuition is the same, that after a while you'll be able to increase your vocabulary, so that what was in the beginning hard to tell between this intuitive sense or that intuitive sense, those feelings felt similar in the beginning, later you'll be able to go, they're slightly different, that's more of a that feeling, this is more of a this feeling, and you'll be able to develop your intuition that way. So those are 3 tips that I hope that you'll be encouraged to use, so that you can develop your intuition more fully. And our Inner Life Skills Mastery programs and coaching programs are here to support you even further. If we can do that, it will be a great privilege. Thank you.